So the 2018-2019 Championship season has come to a close. And what a season it was, boys and girls. Especially if you're a Norwich City or a Sheffield United fan. I'm sure you're going to be partying all the way through to August. But spare a thought for Bolton, Ipswich and Rotherham fans who have their relegation confirmed to League One as well. But what about me? What about my predictions that I made in July 2018? How many did I get right and how many did I get wrong? Let's hop in the DeLorean and find out. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video, this time looking back at the 2018-2019 Championship season, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're going to all here under one roof. Now, what's going to happen here? We are going to take a look back at my predictions that I made early 2018, back in July, as to what I think would happen this season. Who would go up, who would go down, who would be in the playoffs, that kind of stuff, to see how many I got right and see how many I got wrong. Now, what I could do is play the video here and try and do some voiceover job, but I'm not going to do that. What I have done is I've looked ahead at my predictions and I've knocked up a graphic here, and I'm going to compare that to what has happened in the real world. So let's waste no more time and get stuck into it and take a look at how shockingly bad my predictions have been. So who was the unlucky soul who I predicted to be finished bottom of the table? Well, that honour went to Rotherham United, who I predicted to finish 24th spot. They, in fact, finished in 22nd spot, so 2 places better than I predicted. But ultimately, I did predict them that they would go down, and that has been confirmed. We'll take a look at the 22nd spot in just a second. Into 23rd spot, I actually predicted Reading. Yeah, they did. They finished the season last season in pretty terrible form, and I wasn't convinced of their appointment. I just felt that something was going wrong. And to be honest with you, this looked like it was on the cards for a good part of the season. They did change their manager to Jose somebody, and things seem to be going in the right direction now. And I expect them to have a much stronger season next season. In the real world, Bolton finished in 23rd spot. Reading actually finished 3 places higher further up the table. Into 22nd spot, I actually predicted Bolton Wanderers, that's right. And they actually finished 1 place worse in 23rd spot. So the writing was on the wall there, folks. It just, everything seemed wrong with the setup over there. You know, the manager, yeah, he did an okay job this season prior, just keeping him in the championship last, 2017, 2018. But I just didn't think that lightning could strike twice. There was too much going wrong with the stuff off the field matters. So, and honestly, I think that's a pretty good prediction. In fact, I'm predicting 2 out of 3 teams to go down is not too shabby indeed. And Reading, obviously, just outside the drop zone. Into 21st spot, I actually predicted Queen's Park Rangers, who actually finished in 2 places higher up. Must be, 19th spot for them. In the real world, it was Millwall. We'll have a look at where I expected them to finish further up the table, because I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. I expected them to finish much, much higher than the 21st. So I'm very disappointed with Millwall's season, and I'm sure my feelings towards that is much worse from actual Millwall supporters. Into 20th spot we go in at Sheffield Wednesday. Now, to be honest, I'm going to stand by this prediction. I felt that was on the cards. If they'd kept the manager and not got Steve Bruce in, I think it was something Luznicki or something that was the manager. It just, the vibe didn't feel right for them. But they've made an absolute stellar hire and with Steve Bruce. Now, obviously, when I made these predictions, Steve Bruce was at Aston Villa, and I had high hopes for Aston Villa under Steve Bruce. So I think the Steve Bruce factor is huge for any team in the Championship, and I expect Sheffield Wednesday to be knocking on the door of the playoffs, if not higher, next season. So yeah, good season ahead for them, and they also finished strongly. I think might have just been in the top half of the table. We'll take a look. In the real world, Reading did finish in 20th spot. Into 19th spot we go. I had Ipswich Town. That's right. Yeah, they've had an absolute horror show of a story. They obviously lost Mick McCarthy at the start of the season. Brought in a young guy from Shrewsbury that I know kind of. Well, I don't know him personally, but I know of his exploits in League One with Shrewsbury. So I had high aspirations for Ipswich as well, at least a little bit. I didn't think they would go and set the place on fire. I just thought they would be okay, so, and I thought the manager would stick around. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. They brought in Paul Lambert, and we know about Paul Lambert. He ain't his I think his heyday is long gone. So Ipswich down, 5 places worth off. In the real world, is QPR in 19th spot. Into 18th spot, Hull City, another team that surprised me. I didn't see it. I thought, and in fact, the start of the season, I was thinking, you know what, I've got this spot on, because Hull did struggle the early part of the season. They did kick on in the middle part, had a good strong middle, and they kind of trailed off towards the back end of it, just missing out on playoff spots as well. So Nigel Atkins, credit to you. You've done an amazing job, but I didn't see it myself. I thought you would have a season of struggles. To be honest with you, I thought you would get the sack as well, especially with your owners being a bit hodgepodgey as they are. In the real world, Wigan finished in 18th spot. So I actually had, Hull actually finished 5 places better off, maybe in 13th spot, something like that. Into 17 we go, and it is Wigan, that's right, who actually finished in 18th spot. We've already seen that. And in the real world, Birmingham finished in 17th spot. An okay season in my eyes. I thought Wigan would do okay. I didn't think they would be in a relegation scrap. To be honest with you, I wanted them to be in a relegation scrap, but I just didn't think that would happen. They had some good players. Next season, will it be the same? I'm not too sure. I think next season could be very interesting. Obviously, a lot of the two teams that actually went and got promoted this season were unexpected bad boys, and we could see a third maybe with Derby or Aston Villa, and we could be left with a very, very even more difficult Championship season next season. So I don't know what to expect for Wigan moving forward. Into 16th spot, I had Sheffield United. So they've had an absolute barnstorming season, a season that we want to replicate next season, because Rovers finished in 15th, so they finished 14 places better off into second spot. Stoke City actually finished in 16th spot in the real world. They've had a bit of a nightmare season as well. I did have high aspirations for Stoke, and we'll talk about that later. Birmingham finished in, I saw Birmingham finish in 15th spot. They actually finished in 2 places worse off in 17th, but they also had that 10-point deduction. So maybe, just maybe, if that wasn't the case, they would be higher, or Rovers would be lower. So Rovers finishing 15th. I also had them a little bit higher. I thought we had a strong season. We'll talk more about Rovers in a minute. But Birmingham, they've had under Gary Monk, I think they're going in the right direction. They can keep Che Adams in the summer. They should have a decent season, especially much better than this, without that deduction hanging over their heads. So positive times perhaps for Birmingham. Moving forward, Bristol City, I had them in 14th spot. They actually finished it much higher in 10th spot. And in the real world, Preston North End finished in 14th, and they're nowhere on my horizon right now. So I had higher expectations for Preston. I didn't have high expectations for Bristol City, but they actually surprised me once again, and they battered Rovers, I think twice. This season, so they gave us what for, and hopefully we can get better out of them next season. Moving forward into 13th spot, Brentford. That was my prediction early doors, and they had again a rocky road season. They were flirted with playoffs as well. Early doors actually finished 2 places higher in 11th. We'll see that confirmation in just a second. In the real world, Hull City finished in 13th spot. A good season for them, to be honest with you, in my eyes. I spoke to a couple of Hull fans this season. They had mixed feelings about where they were going to end up. So I think 13th is good for them. Moving forward into 12th spot, it was Millwall in my eyes. Yeah, they just survived this season. Obviously, I based that off of their end to the season prior. They finished strongly, so even if you finish this season strongly, boys and girls, your team might start the season or end the season next season in woeful form. So momentum may be a key moving forward, but it may vanish as the preseason comes around. So 12th spot for Millwall in my eyes. In the real world, it was Sheffield Wednesday. So Millwall actually finished 9 places worse off than my prediction. Into 11th spot we go, and that was Blackburn Rovers. I was optimistic about Rovers, and especially after, I was standing 100% beside my predictions early doors into the month of October, November. I thought, you know what, we've got a shot here of maybe even eclipsing my 11th prediction. But ultimately, we did finish in 15th spot. Not a bad season when you think of it as a whole. If we could eradicate the months of February and March, then I'm sure we would have had a much better season, possibly even flirted with playoffs a little bit more than we did. So 4 places worse off for Rovers. Brentford finished in 11th. Into 10th spot we go. I had Preston North End. They actually finished 4 places worse off into 14th spot. And in the real world, it was Swansea City who finished in 10th spot. Swansea City finishing much higher than Stoke, who got relegated from the Prem the same season. Into 9th spot we go, Leeds United. Yes, I didn't buy into the Bielsa stuff when he was hired. I thought, you know what, this is Leeds. Leeds are a bit of a bottle jobs recently, as much as they deserve, as in fan base, to be in the Premier League. There's just a bit of arrogance about them, and that arrogance always hinders my enjoyment for them. They need to kind of wake up a little bit. and kind of eat some humble pie and kind of become a bit more grounded with their expectations a little bit. And that's just for a personal point of view. So I did see them in ninth. They've kind of fallen off the radar a little bit. They're into the playoffs and they do still have a shot at the Premier League. In the real world, Nottingham Forest finished ninth. I'm a little bit concerned about Nottingham Forest for next season. I don't think. I think this could be a bit of a rough spell for them. Because I don't think that O'Neill is a good match. Into 8th spot we go, and I had Derby County, who actually finished in the playoffs in 6th spot. In the real world, Bristol City finished in 8th, who are obviously much higher than my prediction. So actually, I wasn't, again, I didn't think Frank Lampard would do such an amazing job as he has done. Obviously, he's used his connection well over at Chelsea to strengthen the side, and he's brought in some good youngsters to add to the quality that's already there. So they could be the surprise package in the playoffs. Have they hit form at the right time? We'll have to wait and see. Into 7th spot, it is Norwich City. Obviously, runaway leaders in the end, 5 or 6 points clear at the top. I had them finishing just outside the playoffs. Progression, I did expect them to progress from the previous season, but I didn't expect them to do what they did. They did an absolutely phenomenal job, completely against everyone's predictions at the start of the season. If you had the odds in front of you, I'm sure at the start of the season, Norwich were long shots. In the real world, Middlesbrough finished in 7th, and this could be bad news for Tony Pulis, spending a lot of money with his boring football and not getting over the line. Despite winning the last game of the season, I think he was just ousted by Derby County. That's right. Into 6th spot we go. I had Nottingham Forest with Karanka in charge at the start of the season. Optimism was high for Forest fans. I thought they were playing good football, positive football. They made some good signings as well, decent investment into the club. But that's gone a bit sour now after Karanka's gone, and he is a hot prospect out there for a possible Middlesbrough. Maybe they'll bring him back into the club because he plays good football, or he likes to see his team play football, decent football. In the real world, Derby County finished in 6th. Nottingham Forest actually finished 3 places worse off than 6th, into 9th spot. And moving into the 5th spot is Aston Villa, boys and girls. I got this one bang on the nose. I expected them to flirt with playoffs. I didn't expect them to go all the way. I thought they were going to be ousted by some bigger boys. But yeah, got this one bang on the nose, boys and girls. Can they go all the way to the Premier League? We'll have to wait and see. Into 4th spot we go. Swansea City were my pick for the 4th spot. Obviously finishing in 10th spot. 6 places worse off in the real world. West Brom finished in 4th. And again, I've got my bone to pick with West Brom. I think they did an absolute howler by replacing Darren Moore. I don't think they improved their chances whatsoever by making that decision. And into 3rd spot we go. I had Middlesbrough. That's right. I did expect boring Tony Pulis to do a number. He has that capability of getting sides into the playoffs and also promoted with his brand of football. It might not be attractive to the eye. It is business-like performance. It is a results game, but unfortunately he fell short. 4 places worse off in the real world. 7th spot. And here are my top 2 predictions who I thought would go up, and obviously it is when you look at them, what's left and what's not been revealed. I had West Brom to go in as 2nd spot, and they actually finished in 4th spot, so not too shabby with that one. But they made some drastic decisions managerial wise. I thought, to be honest with you, I don't think Darren Moore would have done anything different. I think they would have finished in and around about the same spot, because you got to think about Sheffield United and Norwich. Their season was unexpected. They played crazy football, good football. You know what I mean? They come out of nowhere and they surprised a lot of us. Even the heavyweights of Villa, Forest, Middlesbrough. They all these big boys, not including Stoke and Swansea. They got outfoxed by these two. They got hoodwinked, if you know what I mean. And into top spot, I actually had Stoke City, who finished in a whopping 15 places off the top spot. So nowhere near the top spot, nowhere near the playoffs, nowhere near. They've got a rebuild on their hands as well. Stoke City, I think they made a good appointment with Nathan Jones. It might have not been the greatest start, but he's got the shit together. He's got the basics under wraps, and that is getting the defence in check. Improve their attacking lines over the close season, and I'm sure you'll be back in the thick of things next season. But to be honest with you, that is my championship predictions compared to the real world. To be honest with you, it's not horrific. There are some big numbers in there with Sheffield United and Stoke. Pretty horrific predictions in the grand scheme of things, but ultimately it's a bit okay. It's not the greatest, But we'll go again, boys and girls. We'll have another crack out of it in July, August for the 2019-2020 season, boys and girls. I'll be looking forward to doing it. Hopefully you will be too. And I'll be doing more championship prediction videos next season. So stand by for that sucker when them come around. That's some of the big plans I have for the channel. And speaking of plans for the channel, here is a quick agenda for the next few days. I'll be doing a similar video for League One. I'll be doing a similar video for League Two. Those will be coming out in the next couple of days. And then back into a Rovers point of view on Thursday. I'll be doing a season review for Blackburn Rovers 2018-2019 season, and then on Friday I'll do a nice early buy, keep or sell video for Blackburn Rovers personnel. Who do we want rid of? Who do we want to keep? And maybe I'll throw in a few transfer suggestions. But that, my friends, is pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe. I've got new videos popping out each and every single day in some capacity, I'm sure. Make sure to check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and of course I've got my hotly released Patreon page, boys and girls. If you want to be, if that's something that interests you, check that sucker out. I've got 3 tiers of support that you could offer the channel moving forward. I'm trying to improve the production quality, the content, everything here. We've had a really good year, increased the subscriber or the membership or the subscribers around about from this point last season by a whopping 8,000 subscribers. It's been a really crazy season, hoping to double that up next season or something crazy. So big plans afoot here at the channel. Stick around, thumbs up, subscribe. Stick your own comments down in the old comment section of what you thought will happen, what you expect next season. Just keep the chatter going, boys and girls. It's nice to speak with you, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.